A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant move that has captured global attention, 5 countries including the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and Norway have announced sanctions against 2 far-right Israeli ministers, Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotri. These sanctions come in response to their alleged incitement of violence against Palestinians in the occupied territories, particularly the West Bank and Gaza. The foreign ministers of these nations issued a joint statement detailing that both ministers would face asset freezes and travel bans due to their roles in promoting extremist violence and serious abuses of Palestinian human rights. Ben-Gvir, Israel's national security minister, is no stranger to controversy. He has previously been convicted in Israel for incitement to racism and supporting a terrorist organization. His counterpart, Finance Minister Smotri, has been a vocal advocate for the expansion of illegal Israeli settlements and has called for the expulsion of Palestinians from their lands. Both ministers reside in illegal settlements in the West Bank and have been influential figures in Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government, which has faced increasing scrutiny for its policies towards Palestinians. The joint statement from the 5 countries emphasized that the actions of Ben-Gvir and Smotri have incited extremist violence and undermined the rights of Palestinians. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese noted that while his government has engaged with Israel, it also has a responsibility to uphold international law and address humanitarian concerns in Gaza. Albanese criticized the expansionist rhetoric from right-wing members of the Netanyahu government, suggesting it contradicts the obligations of Israel under international law. The United States, however, has expressed disapproval of the sanctions. State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce described the move as extremely unhelpful, stressing concerns about isolating Israel from the international community. Albanese acknowledged the predictable backlash from the U.S. and Israel, asserting that Australia has maintained a consistent position regarding humanitarian issues in Gaza. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar condemned the sanctions as outrageous, asserting that his government would convene a special meeting to discuss a response to what he termed an unacceptable decision. Meanwhile, Smotri expressed contempt for the UK's move, recalling historical attempts to prevent Jewish settlements in what he referred to as the cradle of their homeland. The sanctions come at a time when the Israeli military offensive in Gaza has escalated, resulting in devastating casualties among Palestinians. Reports indicate that nearly 55,000 Palestinians, predominantly women and children, have been killed since the conflict's resurgence began in October 2023. The ongoing siege and aid blockade on Gaza have further exacerbated the humanitarian crisis, with limited access to essential supplies. In the West Bank, Israeli forces have ramped up military operations, conducting raids that have left many injured and resulted in numerous arrests. Al Jazeera's Noor Odeh reported on the dire situation in Nablus, where residents are facing lockdown conditions, limiting their access to services and assistance. The Israeli military's actions have drawn widespread condemnation, with calls for accountability and a re-evaluation of the international community's approach to the Israel-Palestine conflict. The leaders of the UK, France, and Canada have warned of potential concrete actions against Israel should it continue its military operations in Gaza and maintain restrictions on humanitarian aid. Prime Minister Netanyahu has responded to these threats by accusing the countries of siding with Hamas and being on the wrong side of history. As the situation continues to unfold, the international community remains divided over how best to address the ongoing violence and humanitarian crisis in the region. The sanctions against Ben-Gvir and Smotri represent a significant diplomatic stance from Western nations, reflecting growing concerns over Israel's settlement policies and the treatment of Palestinians. The coming weeks may see further developments as the Israeli government responds to the sanctions and the humanitarian situation in Gaza continues to deteriorate. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.